episode of Women of Her Story, a podcast dedicated to celebrating women who have made or are making their mark on our society. Sitting next to me, as always, is highly sought-after dog trainer, Walker Ruffenor. How are you today, Walker?
Salut! I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Well, today's Her Story lesson is taking us back in time and halfway around the world. You get to listen to me butcher some names as we learn about the woman known as the Sikh Joan of Arc, Mata Bhag Kaur, aka my Bhago.
It sounds like a trip. Let's do it.
I'm
buckled in.
Do it. Mata was born in 1666 in the ancestral village of Jabal Kalan, which is the present-day Amritsar district of Punjab in the Majha region in the north. She was the daughter of Bhai Malo Shah, a member of Guru Hargobind's army, and the granddaughter of Bhai Pero Shah. He was the younger brother of Bhai Langa, the famous chief of 84 villages that converted the Sikh during the Guru Arjan era. He was the 5th Sikh guru. These are so hard for me. I'm trying so hard.
I know you are.
She had 2 brothers, Dilbag Singh and Bhag Singh. Their father trained them, as well as Mata, in Shastra Vidya, or training in arms. Now listen, guys, I know that was a whole lot of names and a lot of repeating names, but from now on, there's only like a couple. So if you're trying to visualize, you can pretty much abandon a good amount of what I just told you.
So that's nice that her dad did that for her.
Yeah,
though.
that she was also part of being trained with her brothers. I love that. I think that's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when she was young, she married Nigan Sig Waraik of Patti. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm trying so hard. There isn't a whole lot known about the early years of her life, but the Battle of Muxar on December 29th, 1705, solidified her place in her story. Before we talk about the battle, we have to talk a little bit about who was fighting and why. This battle featured the Sikhs and the Mughals. Okay. Aurangzeb angered the Sikhs when he executed the 9th Sikh guru, Guru Tegh Bahadur, along with 5 of his followers because they refused to embrace Islam. So naturally, the Sikh turned violent against the Mughals. In 1705, the Mughal chiefs surrounded an area called Anandpur Sahib, yes, I believe, and attempted to capture the current guru. Led by Wazir Khan, under the orders of the Emperor Aurangzeb, they demanded that it be evacuated and they stopped provisions for food. They announced that any Sikh who would say that he or she is not anymore a Sikh of Guru Gobind would be left untouched and that the others would be, quote, done to death. 40 Sikhs told the Guru that they were no longer his. Guru Gobind responded by declaring that they had to write a document and sign it that said, quote, we are not your Sikhs anymore. Fair enough. I feel like, when you make somebody put something in writing, it gets a little more real.
Yeah.
Mata was a staunch Sikh by birth and upbringing. And when she learned that some of the Sikhs had deserted the Guru under adverse conditions, she openly criticized and taunted them. They were, of course, ashamed. She sought after these men, now called Chali Mukta, and convinced them to apologize for leaving Anandpur Sahib when it was under attack.
That's nice of her to stand up.
I agree.
Someone needed to, and I'm glad that was her.
Yeah, she was like,
she decided it was
I'm
going to
call you out because you're being ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mata decided to take them to the Guru to seek permission to be reinstated as Sikhs. At this point, the Guru had been fleeing from the Mughal forces since the attack on Anandpur. They found him near Malva, which, if my research is correct, is about 600 miles from Anandpur. Mata and the men stopped near the Dab, which is the pool, of Khudrana, right when they saw that an imperial army was about to attack the Guru. It seems as though fate had given the men a second chance to redeem themselves to their Guru. On December 29th, 1705, Mata led the 40 men headlong into the Mughal forces, 10,000 strong. That's
yes, fierce warrior queen.
Right, she is fearless.
She was ready. She was ready to throw down. She was ready to battle for battle against the injustices.
Yeah, and they inflicted enough damage that they were able to force the Mughals to give up on their attack and retreat into the woods. This is basically like 40 against 10,000, and they were just so relentless. The Guru watched the battle from a nearby hill and rained down arrows on the Mughal fighters and rode down to the battlefield after it was finished. Mata fought with a keski around her hair, sported the Khalsa uniform, and used Kirpan fighting, making her the first woman in the history of Punjab to fight on the battlefield.
Nice.
Isn't that so cool?
That's very
That feels
impressive.
kind of late in existence.
Very impressive, though.
But crazy.
She was a skilled warrior, I'm sure, if she was the first one like that to be in that position. Wow.
So let me tell you what a keski is. So a keski is a small turban normally worn underneath the main turban. And the Khalsa uniform was a bright blue robe adorned with a gold sash. And Kirpan fighting refers to a sword or a dagger of any size and shape carried by Sikhs. Just so you can kind of picture all of it. So picture this woman on a horse in a blue robe,
majestic,
gold sash, with her weapon and her turban, and she
was ready to throw down. She was ready to fight. And looking stylish while she did it too.
Exactly.
That's the point. That's what you do.
As the Guru approached the battlefield, he noticed that there wasn't much movement coming from his soldiers. All except for Mata Bhag Kaur died from injuries incurred in the battle. When the Guru saw that it was the 40 men who had initially abandoned them, he declared that all was forgiven. When someone dies fighting for their faith or religion, that person is called a shaheed. The Chali Muktas were deemed shaheeds. The Guru blessed the Shari, or liberated ones, that's what that translates to. And then he took into care Mata. Mata stayed with Guru Gobind Singh Ji as one of his bodyguards. It would seem more that she took him into her care. She carried a large lance, 102 pounds, and a musket in full warrior attire, which was traditionally male attire.
A musket and a lance.
Yeah. An over
at the same
100
time.
pound lance.
I can't imagine. Do you imagine those guys in the Civil War holding those big, those big
and now
guns
she's
with
out
the
here with a
rifle on the
lance
tip,
too.
and she's like dual wielding like two long,
she's like, come at me,
ranged weapons.
Bring it on.
Or two long weapons. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Mata was one of a few Sikhs who accompanied the Guru on his journey to Nanded. After the Guru died in 1708, she retired to Jinvara, immersed herself in meditation, and lived to a ripe old age, though I could not find any further details on her death. It is said that the Battle of Mukatsar was the moment when the Mughal finally relented their pursuit of Guru Gobind Singh. I didn't go into detail about the journey that the Guru took after the tragic fall of Anandpur Sahib, but it was a treacherous and lengthy journey, and his energy was beginning to drain. Mata's decision to lead these men into battle, even though so much was certain to be lost, was crucial. they were able to make the journey to Nanded to establish a final center of worship before he passed. They did so relatively unscathed by the Mughal. Sikhi, as it is practiced today, is a direct result from Guru Gobind Singh's instruction at Nanded. So, had she not led those men into that battle,
right,
kind of giving the guru a minute to rest from fleeing, from being, I mean, he was about to die. Had she not had the courage to lead these men and the charisma to lead them, literally, Sikh as it is practiced today would not exist. Because he would not have made it to Nanded to create the final worship center where the instructions for the rest of the religion were fully given.
So you're saying, where would we be without women?
Yes.
You're saying we need women before, now, and after?
Yes.
Okay.
That is what I'm saying.
That's what I thought you were saying?
Yeah.
I just needed to make sure that's what I thought it was you were saying. Yeah, okay.
Mata's heroism helped not only those 40 men in regaining their honor, but she helped to protect the future of the Sikh community. The hut that Mata lived in her final years in Janvara, was converted into Gurdwara Tap Asthan, Mai Bango, which translates to Shrine of the Place of Meditation of Mata Bango.
That sounds really nice.
I know. Now I want to go. In Nanded, a hall within the compound of Tak Sakand Sri Hazur Sahib, there is a plaque that marks her site of residence, quote, Bunga Mai Bago. Mohan Singh Jathedar of Hazur in 1788 built a bunga, which is a war tower, in memory of Mata. The BBC featured her as one of the 3, quote, most badass women in history.
Okay, BBC.
Right? That's what I said. The others being Qing Shi, the Chinese pirate queen, who we covered in episode 4, and Jeanette Rankin, the first woman to hold a high office in the U.S. Congress.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, BBC, I think we need to watch whatever this was.
Or they've been watching us. They've been watching our moves. They're like, Qing Shi, we should do a thing about her.
She has been revered as a saint warrior by the Sikh nation for over 300 years.
That's impressive.
What a woman. To champion and then lead deserters instead of casting them aside is a skill on its own.
Queen with a crown.
Queen with a crown, yeah.
I feel like, a lot of these stories that we talk about, it just kind of shows that a lot of women do get recognition, and, it's very unique in the form of, like, the war tower, or, the postal service with Bessie Coleman.
Yeah.
But, they definitely, it almost feels like the recognition happens not too late, but it just seems like it takes a long time for their names to be kind of recognized in the annals of history, and for, I guess, these sort of organizations to create this sort of
platform, showcase,
I guess
content, memorials.
Yeah, these memorials and, like, just all the forms of
recognition.
Yeah, just all the forms of recognition.
Yeah.
It just feels like it comes really late.
It does. And it's also interesting because I feel like it also zeroes in on the ones that everyone knows. Yeah. Like going back to like Victoria Woodhull was instrumental in the women's suffrage movement, but no one really knows about her. We all know Susan B. Anthony and Ida B. Wells. Yeah. But there's women. It's like there's a picking and choosing of who's gonna be celebrated, and they just kind of throw the other people aside. Right. And I wonder if they're like, no, we already have a woman warrior. We don't need another one. Right. Or we already have a woman pilot. We don't need to over-recognize others.
Right.
I wonder if there's any sort of...
Meanwhile, in textbooks, I mean, I just feel like, there's a male figure. There are like male figures that we learn about daily. And then it'll be like the women facts would just be like the women, it'll be like Thomas Jefferson's wife, or like, just like something kind of like indirectly related to history, but there's never really like those stories that are being told. So.
Absolutely. Well, that's why we're doing this.
That's why we have to do this.
Well, thank you all so much for listening again. Come back this Friday for an interview with epilepsy researcher and doctoral candidate Annie Reyes.
Woo!
In this interview, Annie talks about how she ended up in epilepsy research, the best advice she ever received, and so much more.
Shouts out Annie.
The best thing you can do for us right now is to drop a rating and a review. It helps us grow so much. I promise I don't say it for my health. That sounded like a...
She doesn't.
I hate typing this part at the end of every episode. Hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode as well. And follow us on the social medias if you want a little extra inspiration and content daily.
Couldn't hurt.
On Twitter.
Stay educated on Twitter at the Her Story Pod.
Instagram
at Women of Her Story Podcast.
And visit our website at
ofherstory.com.
Or shoot us an email to
Women of Her Story Podcast at gmail.com.
Oh, we got there though. It's fine.
Women of Her Story Podcast at gmail.com.
There it is.
Off the script.
I'm not editing.
Freestyle, man.
He's off book, guys.
Boom. Boom.
Until Friday, be safe, stay healthy, and show the world what you're made of.
Bye. This is a New York Glitch production. You are the worst.